Greetings. Today, our group will be doing panel one. Um, how can countries along the Mekong River collaborate to manage and share water resources effectively, especially in the face of climate change? Um, and we're going to be presenting as Laos. The current situation in Laos can be summarized in these 3 points. First, in September of 2024, Laos hosted the second ASEAN MRC Water Security Dialogue. Essentially, as the ASEAN chair, uh, Laos used this platform to formally link the Mekong's water challenges with the broader ASEAN community. And this was a really important step, moving beyond the four core Mekong nations to drive a more united region-wide uh, response to our shared climate and water security issues. The second point is that the Lao government has been working on a multi-sector water management based on a river basin framework supported by the water law and international partners adopting an integrated water resources management or the IWRM framework. Um, and this point highlights Laos's commitment to modern science-based water management. So basically, the 27 water law formalized the shift to the IWRM, which means managing water as a single resource across different sectors and river basins. And we've gained support from partners like the World Bank. The third point is that Laos participated in the UNDP implemented regional project titled Enhancing Integrated Water Management and Climate Resilience in Vulnerable Urban Areas of the Mekong River Basin. So Laos is actively engaged in regional climate adaptation projects, working alongside like countries like Cambodia. And this specific initiative was focused on building climate resilience in vulnerable urban areas. And the goal is to improve uh, infrastructure and planning infrastructure so that it can be more equipped to cope with the increasing severity of floods and droughts.
Now, looking into the country's stance on the matter, first of all, it's very important to know that these dams are a very big support to Laos in more than one sector. For one, they generate about 70% of the country's energy consumption. This is a very big thing because it is, of course, a clean energy, these hydroelectric dams, and they are such a major part of the country's needed energy. So losing it would be a very big hit. On top of that, they're looking into expanding this energy generation and becoming the battery of Southeast Asia, meaning that they would sell this energy for the entire region. This is, of course, positive because, again, it's a clean energy and it would also mean great economic prosperity for Laos as the energy sector is very, very big. So there is of course some reluctance from the government when it comes to giving up these dams because they are such big factors in both the energy sector and in an economical sense. However, this doesn't mean that they are completely closed off to collaborating and coming up with solutions with other countries. For example, there have been several summits with Vietnam looking into collaboration to come up with solutions that could be either for the preservation of the water and the wildlife in it, how these dams are affecting the other countries that are downstream, and of course, also to prevent any natural disasters or, for example, any changes that could come with climate change, as this is such a big topic that is currently changing the whole picture.
Laos is very active in promoting the importance of managing and preserving water, as well as collaborating with other nations to address these issues. This is evident because of the collaborations that has been done in the past, and the reason for this is that Laos is very economically dependent on water through sectors such as irrigation, hydropower, navigation, fisheries, urban and rural water supplies, etc., and also water being very essential for everyday life. And there are laws and policies which also stresses on the importance to navigate the effects of natural disasters such as climate change, and the existing collaborations that has been done by Laos, for instance, is the Basin Plan, in which they collaborate with Australia to exchange information and exchange knowledge to have better water management. And also in 2024, there was the ASEAN MRC Waters Summit, in which Laos, as the host country, stresses on the importance of other nations outside the Mekong River or the Mekong countries to also support this in finding solutions for this matter, and also stresses on the importance of investment so that there can be better management, better cooperation, better monitoring, and for there to be a more region connected and resilient and also water secured within the Mekong border.
In this slide, we're going to talk about proposed solution. The first solution we suggest is to continue strengthening regional cooperation in water management. Since the Mekong River connects many countries, I think it's really important for Laos to keep working closely with its neighbors. We can do this by sharing information more openly and by having regular meetings and joint projects between Mekong countries. In that way, everyone can understand each other's situations better and manage water resources more fairly. We also want to support the Asian MRC, the collaboration in disaster monitoring and forecasting. If we share data and communicate regularly, it will be much easier to prepare for floods or droughts before they cause big problems. And to make this work, Laos should encourage real-time data sharing on rainfall, water levels, and dam operations. If all countries in the Mekong region share that kind of information, we can help prevent floods, droughts, and even conflicts over water use. And we believe that being open and working together will make our region more connected and more peaceful and more secure in the future.
The next solution that our group has come up with is to introduce eco-friendly hydropower projects that balance economic growth with environmental protection. Hydropower is one of the main sources of energy for Laos. It plays a big role in the country's economy. However, large-scale dams can sometimes cause problems such as damaging ecosystems, reducing fish populations, and affecting downstream communities. Uh, and to solve this, Laos can start focusing on smaller community-based hydropower projects that supply clean electricity directly to nearby villages. These projects require less land, create fewer environmental impacts, and still support local development. At the same time, Laos can work on upgrading existing dams, making them more efficient and safer for the environment. For example, improving the technology used in old hydropower systems can help reduce water loss and energy waste. Another practical step is to release water in a controlled way during dry seasons, so that downstream farmers have enough water for irrigation and crops. This simple change can make a big difference for people who depend on the river for their livelihoods. Overall, eco-friendly hydropower gives Laos a chance to keep developing its energy sector while also protecting nature, supporting communities, and ensuring long-term sustainability. And this comes to the end of our presentation. Thank you very much.
And here we have all the references in this page for our presentation. And thank you so much for listening in.